Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Solano College Sports Network for our in-studio NBA prediction show. The 2022-2023 season finally kicks off tonight, and I have the analysts here to predict how these teams will stack up this season. Jonathan Cobbs, Dakarai Hughes, Randle, Blake Molina. I'm Cameron Anderson, and we're going to go over our Western and Eastern Conference standing predictions along with our NBA award predictions. So, Jonathan, you want to start us off with your Eastern Conference standings?
Yes, sir. Starting at 10, I'm going to go with the Knicks in New York. 9, I have Toronto. At 8, the Bulls. 7, Brooklyn. 6, ATL, Atlanta. At 5, I have the Celtics. At 4, I have the Cavaliers. At 3, I have Miami. At 2, I have the Sixers. And at number 1, Milwaukee.
Legit.
I like it.
That's solid. I want to say with my Eastern Conference standings this year, I feel like the play-in is going to be the Knicks, depending on how they do this year. I feel like they'll probably mess around and get play-in. You got Toronto, same thing situation, depending on how they do it. I feel like they'll be at the most probably playing. Now, going in with the AC, I'll give it to the Bulls because Lonzo is injured this year. The Heat, they're solid, but they're not really too impressive. I got the Hawks at 6. I got the Celtics at 5. I got the Nets at 4 because then again you got Ben Simmons now, so I feel like that team will improve. The Cavs are 3 because Donovan Mitchell trade. Everybody know about that. I got the Sixers at 2. And I got the Bucks at 1. Out of the 4 right there though, it's interchangeable, but that's my list.
I like that. At 10, I have the Knicks. 9, I have the Bulls. 8, I have the Hawks. Maybe a little bit lower than the rest of you guys. At 7, I have Miami. I think they're going to fall off this year. Not fall off, but drop a little bit. 6, I have Toronto. 5, I have Brooklyn. 4, I have Cleveland. 3, I have Boston. 2, I have Philly. And at number 1, I have the Bucks.
That's legitness. So my list is pretty similar to Mr. Cobbs over there. Starting at number 10, we got the Chicago Bulls. I think Lonzo healthy, they might have the potential to be higher than number 8. Number 10. But until then, we'll see. Number 9, we got New York Knicks. At number 8, we got Toronto Raptors. At number 7, we got the Brooklyn Nets. Coming in at number 6, we got the Boston Celtics. Number 5, we got my boy Harden and them over there in Philly. Number 4, we got the Atlanta Hawks. Number 3, we got Big Giannis and the Bucks. Number 2, the regular season team. They always seem to dominate the regular season, Miami Heat. And then the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, I have Cleveland Cavaliers.
Wow.
The Young Bulls.
I like it.
Okay, we're
Interesting.
gonna make a statement.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch up a little bit on the 10th spot. I'm not a big New York believer. I'm going to go the Washington Wizards. They have a roster similar to a Western team that I'll talk about later, but I mean, Bradley Beal and Porzingis should put them at least in play and if healthy. 9, I have the Raptors. They've just had the same team since the Kawhi championship, since Kawhi left, so they're just kind of the same for me. 8, the Bulls because of the Lonzo injury. I still think they could be a little higher though, depending. 7, I have the Hawks. I have pretty high hopes for Trey and DeJounte, but it needs to be shown first before we get too crazy. 6, I have the Celtics just with all the drama and stuff. The Brogdon edition was cool, but they have a lot of drama. As we go in the top 5, I have Cleveland. I know you guys have them a little higher, but I need to see them kind of gel with Donovan Mitchell. But a couple years, Cleveland will more than likely be at the top of the East. 4th, I have the Heat, the regular season team, as you were talking about. They didn't lose too much, but they didn't also gain anything. So that's how I'm looking at that. 3rd, I have the Bucks. Because we kind of saw last year, if they lose one of those big 3, Holiday, Middleton, or Giannis, they're not quite there, and you need those 3 to kind of win the championship. So at 2, I'm going to put the Nets. A little controversial, but I think Simmons is going to get into form. Kyrie should be all right, and Kevin Durant is Durant. And my number 1 is the Sixers. Embiid, obviously. Harden's going to kind of enter, I think, kind of that point guard mode we saw a few years back in Houston, from what I've been kind of hearing from Doc Rivers. Him and Rivers have been talking, so I have them as my number 1.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Interesting. So I heard some of the things that stood out. I know I heard the Celtics were a little low. You had Celtics. You had Boston at 6. And you had Boston
I
at
had Boston at 5.
5 and 6. At 6 and 5.
Yeah.
The reason why
Is it the Ime Udoka news?
I think the reason why I think Boston will probably drop from what they was last year because of the coach situation. Like usually situations like that, it messes up the locker room. So like the dynamic for the team ain't gonna really be the same as in how the same focal point was last year.
Another thing I noticed, I think this is pretty normal, but we had a lot of ups and downs on the Nets. You had Nets at 2. I heard Nets at 7.
Yeah, I had them at 7.
I think you and Jonathan both had 7.
I have them better than 7. Only reason I'm gonna say, let me state my opinion is what they're missing. They're missing a down low presence. Ben he's big, but he's not gonna be your post guy. He's gonna guard the best player on the floor. He's not. What they were missing last year in the playoff run versus the Celtics is size in the paint. They got out rebounded and they got overpowered.
I agree with that, but at the same time, that Simmons dynamic going in, if they're getting the player we saw in Philly 2-3 years ago, I mean, that's not a big issue. That is an issue, I agree with you, but that's not as glaring as it needs to be. Now, if Simmons is a little different or not as good, then maybe you kind of look to go get a center. Miles Turner's on the trade block, that wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, I just don't think that Nick Claxton by himself cuts it out.
I agree.
You come across the Celtics who threw out Al Horford at you, Robert Williams,
Daniel Tice when they had him.
Daniel Tice. I mean, it's like you can't. And Ben Simmons, you can't expect him to guard all 3 of them and guard Tatum.
I agree.
But one thing I can't say about what you said about size, because you go back to the Warriors. The Warriors is one with small ball. So with the Nets, it could be the same situation where you have Ben Simmons. You have Kevin Durant running the 4 and 5, and you gotta think about this: if they're too small or can't rebound, their bigs had to come out and guard them on the perimeter. So that opens up the lane so people can't go inside. So I feel like, me personally, the Nets should be higher, but you have your opinion. But I just feel like small ball might be their go-to this season.
Going off that real quick too, you're right, and also too, if they're going to small ball, I mean that's a bigger lineup than what Golden State had compared to Steph, Clay, Draymond, that type of thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
Ben is
Simmons,
basically their Draymond.
Durant's 7 foot. Simmons is what 6'9", 6'10", and then I mean Irvin's the only kind of issue at size. But I mean if they're gonna run
Steph Curry
small
or
ball,
Joe Harris.
Yeah, you got Steph Curry and Joe Harris for sure.
See, that's why I like the shooting though that they have for the Nets. I think the biggest issue to me is just health. I don't really see Kyrie, KD, and Simmons playing like 70 games together.
Health
or
and Kyrie's
65 plus.
And that's the
I don't
only
think
reason
they're
why
playing
I have them
65
at
plus
number
games
7 on
together.
my list. Like, that's legit the only reason. I think talent-wise, they're obviously a top 3 to 4 team in the Eastern Conference, but
Like on
we
paper.
just don't see Ben Simmons playing every single night. We don't see Kyrie Irving playing every single night. And KD, he has low management. So
And last thing
Those
I'm
are
going to
factors.
say is to go again. Sorry, you guys said the Golden State small ball. They have the pieces to do that. Where they have Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, who are all great catch and shoot threes guys, and that opens everything up for them on offense. They're going to put up over 115. The Nets are an ISO team. They're not going to do that. They're going to go KD to the elbow, Kyrie to the wing, and Ben will be the one in transition who moves the ball around.
I agree.
I just say, I'm not even talking about small ball from the standpoint of last year. I'm talking about previous years when they had Iguodala and all them teams like before they were doing small ball. I feel like KD has the experience from playing with the Warriors to change the ISO ball situation to where, since Ben Simmons could be the Draymond Green of the team because he's been defensive player, not defensive player, but basically defensive first teams. So I feel like his situation would be exactly like Draymond would be. He would run the point, run the show, be that, and then he would basically be a defensive anchor on the other end. So I feel like the Nets small ball situation actually could work this year from the standpoint that people are actually not looking. Ben Simmons is actually top 20 player in the league right now. We just, from what happened last year in the playoffs or 2 years ago in the playoffs, everybody had a bad taste in the mouth with Ben Simmons. But in reality, he does everything well besides the scoring aspect. So that's one thing I can say about the Nets.
Yeah, no disagreement on that.
7.
7.
2.
What I put him as? I put him at 4.
I got that too.
But how do you guys feel about, I want to say, the Bulls situation? Because everybody kind of has them low. But then again, if we look at it, we all universally said Lonzo Ball is the reason why they're low. I want to say with that situation, look at their record last year. They didn't really have Lonzo all last year. They was like the 4th seed.
Yeah, well they were, and then they fell off in the second half of the season. They lost to a lot of teams better than them. They didn't beat the good teams. I feel like they lost to they beat a lot of bad teams. So that record might have been a little like misconstrued or kind of not a fake record. But I think losing Lonzo is a big deal. But I really like Ayo. I think Ayo can be a good point guard. Caruso, Levine, DeRozan. I'm not a big Kobe White fan, but he could be good.
I'd take him over Caruso.
But
I would disagree.
I will say though, for the Bulls, they showed their weakness last year. They can't shoot.
They can't shoot.
The Bucks, when they played them, they literally gave them threes. Like, here, take it.
And
they can't shoot. Now that we know
Zach
that,
LaVine's their best shooter.
I'm
He's
not-
more than that.
Lonzo was also their
And Lonzo, He was a
percentage-wise, he
40%
was
shooter.
their best shooter,
Mhm.
and he's not playing. So
Right.
Yep.
And they didn't address shooting in the offseason. They brought in
They have a lot
Drummond.
of
They brought in a
slashers.
big.
Yeah,
but
they have a lot of
Who'd they
slashers.
draft?
I don't think they had a draft pick. Oh no, they didn't because they didn't because of the Vucevic trade. That was the other thing I was gonna say too. Is I think they should have unloaded Vucevic too and got something because he's not working with them.
I agree.
I mean, he's a big and he can give you points and stuff, but they should have unloaded him. Now it's gonna be like they won't get as much now.
How do you guys feel about Patrick Williams' potential?
As a starter or in general?
Just in general. Because he was
cool.
what, the 4th or 5th pick of the draft?
He went early for me. That was too early.
Yeah,
He went
I think
too early.
he went way too early. I agree.
Early.
It could be one of them situations where they didn't draft the right person.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
He's not a bad player.
I mean,
though.
he looked like a fit.
He should be a really
just
good
can't
defender.
shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of the
he looks like a
prototypical
fit.
wings in the NBA, but
Yeah.
we'll
You
see.
need to be able to shoot in this league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A team I'm actually pretty high on in the East is the Raptors. I have the Raptors at 6. I like their defense. I think they have one of the better defensive teams in the East. They have a lot of really good 3-and-D guys.
Sure.
With Van Fleet at the 1, Gary Trent Jr., OG, Scotty Barnes coming off Rookie of the Year. Pascal's good. I like Precious Achua. They also have Bo Cruz. So they should be
Yeah, they do. They got.
Yeah, they got
picked him
Wancho.
up.
Yeah, they got Wancho.
Oh, Wancho. Oh yeah.
Wancho.
Hernan
They
Gomez.
also got Bro Cruz.
Honestly,
Oh, Cruz.
I think Toronto is one of the situations where they didn't really improve,
Yeah.
but they didn't
Regress.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
progress. It's one of the situations where it's like the league got better and you're the same team. So I just feel like, my personal opinion, I think they're going to be playing.
That's
See,
right.
I think the difference between Miami and Toronto, because you could definitely say the same thing about Miami. Like, they didn't do anything in the offseason, and a lot of people are concerned about that, even though they're always great, and Eric Spoelstra always finds a way to win games in the regular season. They lost PJ Tucker, so they don't have a 4.
Was a big factor.
I don't know who's going to play 4 for them, like Nikola Jovic, but I don't think he's going to.
I think that's a great pickup for Philly.
Yeah, Philly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, back to the
That's
point.
the reason they're number 2.
Yeah, that back to the point. Look, back to the point with Philly too. That's why I have the Bucks, Sixers, Cavs, and y'all have the same thing, but I have them basically the main 3 interchangeable because depending on how they really do against the West, because it depends how the East usually how they play against the West, depending on how they're gonna do with the standings. But the fact that they picked up PJ Tucker really actually made their team more of a championship winning team.
Yep.
Yeah, and also too, James Harden and Embiid are getting that full training camp together with Doc Rivers, and they're working. So now we're gonna definitely kind of see if this team's real or not. One last thing about the East I wanted to talk about was I think the Hawks can really rise through and kind of sneak up on people, but again, we don't know what that backcourt of Murray and Young is really going to be. I have high hopes for them, and I think they could really jump from 7th to maybe even that 5th seed, but
Yeah.
I mean, we just have to see how they play. And then I think the weirdest thing too is John Collins was part of so many trade rumors, and now he's there and he's all happy all of a sudden.
Right.
How long is that really gonna last? And he's on a contract; he's getting his money, so it's like he can't use that as an excuse. So it's like, if there's really any bad problems, I mean, he's probably the first guy gone, no doubt about it.
I just want to see who's going to be the main ball handler.
It's gonna be Trey.
It's gonna be Trey for sure, but I think it'll be one of the situations where they're gonna have Trey off ball too.
Yeah.
A lot
They're
more.
gonna have him like a Steph Curry situation, and Trey
Steph?
Steph.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna have they have DeJounte gonna have basically run the show.
Yeah.
And they have Trey Young be their main scorer. And honestly, the Hawks is really, I don't want to say a sleeper team, but it's one of the teams that we'll see how they do it in the season because what they did 2 years ago when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Nobody expected that.
No.
Right.
And that's what you got from Trey Young. So Trey Young's one of them players that you never know. The Hawks might mess around and get the top 5 seed, or they might be down in the standings how they was last year, and they still made the playoffs.
I think Atlanta has 2 guards that's proven themselves to be legit point guards in this league.
And they're still fairly young.
And still young.
Right, so
Very
I think
young.
with that being said, whoever gets the rebound is going to find the first person they see.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
They gonna
I
push
don't
it
think
up.
it's going to
Pick
be
and
a big
roll.
discrepancy.
And-
It's gonna
yeah.
push the ball up.
And DeJounte's going to be able to lock down the best guard
Yeah,
in the
I
other team
forgot
in the
they do
playoffs.
got Clint too. That team,
Capella
that
with
team.
Murray and then throw Collins with Trey.
Collins
Collins,
could stay
Lobs.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter may take a leap.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, he
top
better.
pick.
He got a
Just
fat
sign him.
extension.
You got a fat extension.
He got a fat
Nah,
extension.
they signed him on that Duncan Robinson extension.
I mean,
That was wild.
yeah,
That was
but
wild.
he's better.
I'm not saying, and don't they have?
Well, that's what we thought about Duncan. We thought he was
No,
better
I
than
knew he
too.
was worth no 90 mil.
I thought he was a shooter.
He was, but
He didn't
they
get too
only
much
paid 90
PT.
mil.
Huh?
He didn't get too much PT last season.
I
Yeah,
know,
he's a
but Max
liability.
Strus came in and took his job.
That's
true.
true, but he's a liability.
All right, we're gonna go to a break, and we'll come back with our Western Conference standings after a quick break.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
Nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
on-the-job training is huge.
Get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So.
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
All right, and welcome back from a quick break as we are now ready for the Western Conference standings, and Blake Molina is going to start us off.
Starting at 10, I have my 10 and 9 can be interchangeable, but at 10, I'm going to put the Sacramento Kings. I think their ceiling is a 7th seed, but we'll keep them at 10. They'll be fighting for that playoff spot. At 9, I have the Lakers. Mostly just putting them there because, AD is probably going to miss at least 40 games at most. So if he's healthy, they'll be higher, or they'll kind of just be in that same spot. At 8, I have the Mavs. No disrespect to Luka, he just needs more help. Dinwiddie and Wood. Other than that, Hardaway Jr. too. Other than that, he just needs more help. But they should be a playoff team. 7th, I have the Grizzlies. They'll be taking a step back this season, just with the West being more competitive and them not really. They need like a veteran player in there. They have a nice plethora of young talent, but they just need some vet guy. I think Bogdan, that got traded to Detroit, would have been fine for them. 6, I have the Suns, also falling off. They just don't look very appealing, and I think we need to have the conversation sooner than later. Devin Booker's getting a little overrated. Sorry, had to say it. My best friend's a Suns fan too, so he probably won't like me either. At 5, Pelicans, my dark horse team of the season out of everybody. I think they can be higher. I think if they're healthy and Zion comes back, the Pelicans could be easily top 3. 4th, I have the T-Wolves. Rudy Gobert speaks for itself. They made some other small minor moves, Austin Rivers, Kyle Anderson, to name a few. Kat and Anthony Edwards can still leap and take bigger steps, and they still have D'Lo and a couple other good pieces. 3rd, of course, we got to put the Warriors in there, the champs. They deserve it to be in the top 3, even though their roster says otherwise and doesn't look as good. But
Whoa.
You have Steph Curry. I'm just saying, you have Steph Curry and others. They have nice young pieces, and we need to talk about if the pool's money will be worth pretty soon too. Number 2, I have the Nuggets. They're going to just come back healthy. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon's still on that team. I think he's kind of the sleeper player on that team. And number 1, if full healthy, the Clippers. John Wall's looking cool. YPG. They're pretty deep with Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Zubac, to name a few. And, Reggie Jackson's there too, I guess. But that's where I'm at. Y'all are a little sick over there.
I just have a quick question.
Dakari's firing early.
This is just a quick question.
Go ahead.
You said the Lakers said AD might play, which you don't realize. Well, the Lakers, AD played more games than Kawhi and PG both combined.
That's fantastic. There's still a low bottom scene, and he's a unicorn, so we'll see it.
See, I would agree.
He's a
the
unicorn, bro.
Clippers actually made the playoffs, and the Lakers didn't. So now they're healthy. We'll see. The Clippers made the playoffs without their 2 best players. So
That's true.
I see where he's coming from.
I guess.
Go ahead, Zay.
All right, Zay, you go.
Start with my list for the Western Conference. Western Conference Finals. For the Western Conference, coming in at number 10, we got Minnesota Timberwolves. They got Gobert and Cat, and honestly, I don't know how this is going to work defensively. They got two big, slow guys, so one of them is going to have to go out and guard the perimeter players. I don't really see that working out too well. So that's why I have them pretty low on my list. At number 9, we got the Houston Rockets.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
They got some young talent. I feel like they have the potential to possibly make a play-in game. But this is where the list really starts. Let's start at number 8. This is where it starts to matter.
Here we go.
Okay, so at number 8, I got the Pelicans. I want to see what Zion and BI are going to do this season. I feel like they could be a nice 1-2 combo. So we're going to see what they're going to do. At number 7, we got the Phoenix Suns. Pretty much like you said, you just don't know what's going on in Phoenix. There's a lot of questions. At number 6, we got the Dallas Mavericks. Luka, like you said, he just needs some help. I want to see what Christian Wood is going to do. He could be a key component out there, but we just don't know yet. And then at number 5, we got the Denver Nuggets and the Joker. It's a big fella. They're not going to ask too much of him this season, so we're going to see what they can do. At number 4, Los Angeles Lakers. We got LeBron and AD. No more to be said. Number 3, the Clippers. I really want to see what these guys can do. They got a lot of talent out there in L.A. between John Wall, PG, and Kawhi. And Reggie Jackson is a knockdown shooter. So if they can all find it and get it going, I think they could be a legit team in the West. Number 2, Golden State Warriors, champs. I feel like the only reason why I have them not at number 1 is because they're going to need some nights off. But other than that, I think they're the best team right now in the West. And then number 1, Memphis Grizzlies. Last year, without Ja Morant, who missed a lot of games, we got the top 2 seed in the West. I think this is a really talented team. I'm not saying they're the best team in the West, but I think they can make some noise in the regular season.
Well, you have them at number 1, so you do think they're the best team. Or standings-wise, they're going to finish first.
Exactly.
That's fair.
I think the Lakers are the
Okay, yeah, let's just cut it off
there.
I heard at 4. I was
Popping,
like,
giving you extra credit.
You didn't hear the Kings on my
immediately.
list.
The Kings are on my list. I got the Kings at 10.
Let him go with his list,
Let me go. I got the Kings at 10. I think the addition of Mike Brown, Keegan Murray drafted, Sabonis and Fox with an offseason, plus they got Monk and Herter coming off the bench. At 9, I have the Lakers. They just haven't really improved to me. They haven't improved a whole lot in the offseason. They still have no shooters. They're still old. They're still just pretty mid. At 8, I have Phoenix. I think the Sarver news and with DeAndre Ayton in the offseason with a lot of kind of like reliability kind of stuff. He just hasn't been very reliable, and I don't think he's going to be very good this year either. At 7, I have Memphis. Memphis finished 2nd last year, I believe, and I think they're going to fall off without Jaren Jackson Jr. He's going to be out until mid-December. I think that's a big piece for them. He was almost Defensive Player of the Year. He was really good defensively last season. At 6, I have Dallas, Luka and friends. He's got Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway Jr. is coming back. I like Christian Wood, who I think is going to come off the bench. So from what I've heard, with JaVale at the 5.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard so far.
I did read that somewhere.
At number 5, I have the Pelicans. I think this team is going to make a huge leap. If Zion is healthy and if this team can stay healthy, McCollum has some injury issues as well, or a history with injuries. I like Valanciunas, Herb Jones, really good defender with Jose Alvarado and Dyson Daniels, who they drafted. At number 4, I have the Timberwolves. Minnesota, I think he's going to be much better this year. Cat playing at the 4, it's going to be like he was in Kentucky when he had Willie Cauley-Stein at the 5 and Cat was playing the 4. Now Gobert's at the 5, who's going to lock down the paint and be a really good interior defender for them. Also, I think Anthony Edwards could be in the MVP conversation this season as well. At number 3, I have the Clippers. I think this team, if healthy, can be really good, but health is probably the biggest question. But I think at the same time, they've showed that they don't even necessarily need to have their big 3 or top 2 players to be able to make the playoffs. So I like them a lot. At 2, I have the Warriors. They just came off the championship. Young guys are going to step into those key roles with Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman's healthy. DiVincenzo coming off the bench is a good playmaker. And At number 1, I have the Denver Nuggets. I like the Nuggets with Jamal Murray healthy, Jokic back-to-back MVP, Michael Porter Jr. They've got Caldwell Pope running the 2, Aaron Gordon at the 4, and Bones Highland coming off the bench. Could be a dark horse 6 man of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting list. All right.
All of these.
I want to say for my West, I have a little different, really depending on what moves, injuries, everything, because injuries is a factor. For my 10 spot, I have Portland, because Dame Dollar, you feel me? Dame, he might do his thing and get back, because he been proven to will his team to the playoffs, no matter what team does he have. Now, the playing for number 9 spot, I have the Lakers. The Lakers, I'm a Laker fan, but the way it's looking, depending if they make moves or not, it depending if they're going to be a top 5 seed or they're going to be a 9 seed. It could be a good or bad situation. It's depending if they can get shooting along with their situation and improve their dynamic team chemistry. They have. I feel like they have good coaching, and I actually feel like AD is going to do his thing this year. Everybody worry about his injuries. I feel like injuries not going to be a real factor with him because I think that they'll be able to play through it, or he'll be able to work it. I think he worked his butt over the offseason. Now, number 8, I do have the Pelicans because the West is going to be stacked. Even though the Pelicans is a nice team, I feel like with Zion coming back, I feel like they're going to guarantee get that 8th spot. I got for number 7, I have the Suns. The Suns are actually pretty low for me this year because for the fact that Chris Paul is going up in age. So we all thinking about like, okay, they might drop down because of team chemistry, but I feel like injuries gonna play a part this season because Chris Paul is also an older point guard. He hasn't really been proven to stay healthy for that long period of time, so it's gonna really affect the dynamic during the season. Number 6, I had him as universal. I feel like most of us put Luka at 6. Just not even just because of the team. I just feel like he'll basically do his thing. He might eventually win MVP this year, but I feel like Luka will actually do his thing and bring him 6. Number 5, I have the Grizzlies. And the reason why I have the Grizzlies at 5 because their same dynamic that basically got them top 3 seed. I'm not sure if it was the 2nd seed last year.
I think they're 2nd.
Okay, so basically the team is good, but they lost a lot of key pieces. Not all of it, but basically like some pieces they had last year had left. So I feel like this situation, they're going to be good, but they're not going to be as good as it was last year. I got the Timberwolves at 4 for the fact that I feel like they have a solid defensive team. A lot NBA is more or less defense. Offense comes and go, but defense. So you have Rudy Gobert guarding the 5. You got Cat who can space out the 4. He's a big space out. You got Anthony Edwards, a coming star. You got D'Angelo Russell, who's a great passer. So that situation right there, I feel like they'll be able to hold their own against anybody in the West or East from the standpoint of the starting 5. My 3 and 2 is kind of iffy because it really depends on injuries and the situation. I have the Nuggets 3, but then again, the Clippers are also a mystery to me because same situation where you had a nice team last year at A seed, but they didn't have all the roster. Like Paul George was there, and he got injured, so the team went down. And with Kawhi back, Kawhi has been load managing the last 2 years. So the team never actually had a chance to be number 1 seed because they never ever had their roster together. So depending on how they do this year, if they can keep their players on the court, they'll be number 2 seed. But as of right now, I have them interchangeable with 3 and 2. Now, number 1 is the reigning defending champions. We have Golden State. Basically, they kept the same team, only lost a couple role players, by new players. You come back in with the whole, with your rookie, your 2nd pick, James Wiseman. You have Draymond, Clay, Curry, Wiggins, same 5 thing going through. And actually, their young players, their bench is actually probably, I want to say, top 2 in the league right now with their bench and dynamic of being able to switch off screens, be able to guard basically anybody. And I feel like they have enough scoring off their bench to hold up against anybody else.
I like
Real
that.
wordy.
Mr. Cobbs.
My turn, finally, guys. The best points.
The worst for last.
And now we're getting disrespectful. So, at number 10, sorry, Blake, Kings. don't
That's pretty
feel like
respectful.
Why?
Mike.
You don't gotta tell me
I
I'm
say-
okay with that.
Yeah, the Kings
made the
at
list.
10. I don't think that Mike Brown is that great of a coach. You seen what happened to the Warriors when he coached 1-2 games. He had LeBron James in his time in Cleveland, so that's just one little opinion. I have them there. Next, I have New Orleans because I know we all believe that they're going to be way better. I got to see it to believe it. I need to see Zion in a role with that team, and I need to see BI and everybody do what they're supposed to do consistently. They're not always the most consistent people. So after that, I have Dallas because the reason I put Dallas there is because Jalen Brunson departure, one, and I don't know if, you know, in this West, how good it is, how they can compete too much on the back end of things, just only having Luka at the moment as a real primary ball handler who can come up and down the floor.
Dinwiddie?
He's an off guard. He's not really the primary, so that's why when Luka comes off the floor, it'll be a drop off if you ask me. For next, I have the Timberwolves. The reason I put the Timberwolves there is, yeah, they added Rudy Gobert, but they also lost Patrick Beverly, Malik Beasley, 4 first-round picks. They lost leadership. One, Rudy Gobert is not the best leader, proven with the Jazz, and he also cannot score the ball. So you still have the same team, you just added a shot blocker.
Basically.
That's why I keep them there.
This is number 7, right? That was number 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then number 6, I have Phoenix. Like you said, with the ownership issues and Ayton not talking to Monty Williams and just the hearing how he kind of sounds towards that, I don't think that there will be the same team. I do think Devin Booker is like that though. Just wanted to give you that one.
Rated, underrated, or overrated?
No, he's
Rated.
not overrated.
Rated.
He's not underrated.
He's getting
rated.
there.
Yeah.
Rated.
He's getting there.
He's that guy at the shooting guard position. At 5, I have the Lakers. With a healthy AD, the best power forward in the game. Better than Karl Anthony Towns, if you ask me. He really can't touch him.
In the
Anthony
West?
Davis in the West is the best power forward.
When healthy and not in street clothes?
When healthy, are we not talking healthy here?
No, you're right.
So AD is the best in the West when it comes to that. LeBron is still that guy when it comes to knowledge of the game. And don't let them be they're going to surprise people. I mean, they didn't really have their full team. Chemistry was off. This year they get a second year to show what they got.
AD has nice street clothes though.
Yeah, he does.
He got cool drip.
He has a lot of money. At 4, I have the Clippers. At 4, I have the Clippers. I wouldn't put them higher than 4 because PG and Kawhi didn't play for a whole year. That team got used to playing without them, and that's probably why they were as good as they were. Now they got to get used to playing off ball without the ball in their hands as much because they have John Wall, Paul George, and Kawhi, who they're all going to give the ball to. At 3, I have Golden State, just not because they're the 3 seed. They're really the best team to me. In terms of, Zay said it earlier, they're going to take
They're
some
going to
breaks,
cruise.
so they're going to do what they did this year, get another 3 seed, and be okay with it. At 2, I have Memphis. I know they lose Jaren Jackson Jr., but I mean, you see when they lost Ja Morant, who was the most improved player and their best player on their team, they still beat a Warriors team by 60. Who is the championship team. So I'll keep that there. They still beat them. They also have Steven Adams and Brandon Clark, who are also pretty good down low and helped Jaren Jackson Jr. look just as good because if he got beat, Brandon Clark and Steven Adams were there to help. And then for my number 1, who I don't think is going to win the championship or be the best team in the playoffs, but I think will have a good regular season, is the Nuggets. I have them being the best team in the West this season, during the season, because of Joker now has more people to give the ball to who can score at a higher clip than the others, with Murray and MPJ back. But I don't see them pushing too far in the playoffs, just because I don't see them lasting and continuing with dominance from the whole season to the playoffs to the championship.
They're always a second round exit.
Yeah,
I think they're fine in the first, but once it gets to those middle rounds, they're always that exit.
Yeah.
Quick question for everybody here: why do you guys have high hopes for the Denver Nuggets being the first seed this year?
I think the health we saw in the bubble, Jamal Murray, what he can do, and I think if he's unleashed like that, he doesn't have to drop obviously like 50 points a game like he was. He was just out of his mind. But the fact that Jokic has been able to carry his team by himself, I think it's similar with the Clippers, where it's like the Clippers were really good last year, coached by Ty Lue, who did a fantastic job. It was basically a bunch of role players on that team that came together and did really well. Now that they're healthy, I just see them making that leap with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. hopefully playing.
But it's also going to be in the same situation with Jamal Murray. We're all talking about high hopes about Jamal Murray and we did in the bubble. What did what's his name for Indiana Pacers do?
TJ Warren.
He did the exact same thing where he was getting buckets in the bubble. Jamal Murray hasn't played in 2 years. Same situation with John Wall. So I don't feel like the Nuggets are going to be a first seed because they don't have that dynamic of a championship, not championship, but basically a winning. And like they had to readjust to all the players again. So I feel like the Nuggets, I don't think they would be the first seed just off that. Because I feel like everybody's too high hope on Jamal Murray. I don't think he's going to be that same player we seen in that 2020 bubble. I don't think he's going to come out and just flat out do like drop 30, 40 on everybody.
Yeah, they said he's going to have some load management too to start the year since he's still coming off the ACL.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back for our NBA award predictions right after this.
Hi, my name is Eric Visser. I'm in my 5th year as the athletic director of Solano College. To experience community college and its mission has been an outstanding experience. Solano College has a very rich tradition in intercollegiate athletics dating back to 1947. I'm very proud to communicate that rich tradition is still being continued with fine young men and women that represent Solano College on and off the court. In the fall we have the volleyball program. We have a very successful women's soccer program. We have both men's and women's basketball. And then we transition to 4 programs: baseball, of softball, men's women's tennis, and men's and women's swimming. It is our mission to excel our programs and our student athletes in academics. All of our student athletes are committed to give back to the community. And we would invite you to be a part of Solano College Athletics by visiting our website www.solanoathletics.com, and you feel a warm welcome at Solano.
All right, and we're back for our NBA awards prediction segment. We're going to go over MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man, and Most Improved. Jonathan, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I got you, man. In probably not that order. MVP for me this year, I have Joel Embiid. He's going to have his 3rd MVP type season, and then he deserves it. And he's going to keep having MVP years till he gets it. My Rookie of the Year, I have Paolo Banchero, the most consistent and NBA-ready body in the draft. For Most Improved this year, I have Tyrese Halliburton. He has an opportunity at Indiana, sorry, not football here, at Indiana to be the main guy and take over that role and, you know, really show himself as being a top player in the league. And then for me at Defensive Player of the Year this year, this is why I have the Cavs so high in my Eastern Conference standings, I have Jared Allen.
Nice.
Jared Allen's a really good.
I had Jared Allen on mine.
He's pinning somebody off the glass every game. And then at Sixth Man of the Year, you know, I believe he can get it more than once. I think it'll be Jordan Clarkson. He'll have a lot more opportunities to shoot the shots. You know he loves to shoot. And now on that Utah team, because they aren't that great, he's going to put them up. And for me,
I like it.
I like that. All right, my MVP, in my opinion, is going to be Luka Magic because I feel like he's definitely top 3 in the league right now. And it's going to be a situation where Jokic, how he had not so good team, but willed him to the playoffs. My defensive player of the year, it's kind of up in the air with this, so I'm not really sure. It could be either a big or a guard, but I would say I'm going to go out with him when he said it could be either Jared Allen or it could be Rudy, because he will have more chance to really help. I want to say for my Rookie of the Year, my Rookie of the Year is the same thing as his. I got Paolo as my Rookie of the Year because I feel like watching him in the Summer League, he was definitely by far the best player, most complete player at that 6'10" height. Sixth Man of the Year, I have Jordan Poole. He's going to show you the reason why he's worth that money. Everybody's seen last year what he did. So now it's going to be more or less eyes on him. And my Most Improved Player, I'm not really sure who would be the Most Improved Player this year. It really depends on situations, but I want to say Jalen Green.
I like that.
it. That was
Yeah.
I like
He
it.
could make a
Of course
big
you
jump
like
this
it.
year.
Yeah, I mean, 10.
And based off how Ja won it last year, that could be a good pick because he's a top pick in the draft. All right, at MVP, I don't actually love this pick. I kind of just went with it because I knew everyone was going to say Embiid or I don't know, or Luka. So I just went. I went with Jason Tatum.
Sorry, I almost put him.
I like Tatum. I like Tatum to win it this year. I think he's been. I mean, after beating KD in the playoffs, I know like he kind of went. There was like a whole media segment where it was like, "Is Tatum better than KD now?" Which is obvious. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I do like Tatum to win MVP this year. He's going to average 26 plus, 6 rebounds, play good defense, and they still could be a top team in the East, even without Ime as their head coach this season. For DPOY, I picked Bam Adebayo. I've picked Bam for a while. I've had him winning this award for a while. And I think this is the year he does it. Miami has a really good defense, and he mans that the paint, and he can guard 1 through 5. So I like Bam this year. And my dark horse for Rookie of the Year is Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah.
I like Mathurin a lot. He can shoot it out of Arizona. He's with the Pacers now. He's going to get a lot of reps, a lot of time. Especially if they trade Buddy Hield at the deadline, which I think the Pacers should do. He could be the starting shooting guard very soon. 6 Man of the Year, I did go with Jordan Poole, but I had to think about it. I think Clay is going to have a lot of off nights in games where he doesn't play. So I don't think Jordan Poole will even count as a 6 man because he's going to start some games. So I went with Tyler Herro. I like Tyler Herro this year. He's going to average close to 20 off the bench. And he's going to be off the bench a lot of the season, so that's why I chose him. Most improved, I have Zaire Williams from the Memphis Grizzlies. Young star, super athletic. Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be out for a while, so I think he's going to get a lot of run at that 3 or maybe even slide into the 4 with his height and length. So that's why I have my most improved.
Nice. So for the MVP award, I got my boy James Harden. You can laugh, but basically he plays the exact same role as Luka Doncic, but has a better surrounding cast. So that's the reasoning for that. He also has Joel Embiid, who had MVP-like seasons the last 2 to 3 years. So with anybody around that, with James Harden playmaking ability, and if he can get back to being aggressive, I think he's a shoe-in for at least top 5 MVP. So for next, I got Defensive Player of the Year, Ben Simmons.
Ooh. Wow.
Like Dakarai said earlier in the show,
Like it.
he basically has that Draymond Green role. Okay, so he's basically going to be a paint defender, and on offense, he's just going to be there to pass the ball to people. That's it. So I think he can really spend a lot of energy on the defensive side, and he can guard the 5 through the 1. That's why I like him as my Defensive Player of the Year. For Rookie of the Year, Pablo Banchero. Simply because he has the opportunity to be the focal point in Orlando.
You said Pablo.
It's Pablo, bro.
Paolo Banchero.
Pablo.
It's all good. Hey, Banchero, you know who it is, man.
Yeah.
All right. 6 Man of the Year.
I'm dying.
Russell Westbrook, if he comes up. Oh man. Are we acting like he's not known for dropping triple doubles? He's gonna come in with energy. He's gonna come in with defense, and you know he has the playmaking ability. He doesn't have to be a great scorer to be the 6 Man of the Year. He doesn't. He just has to come in and make a great impact, and I think that's what he's gonna do. But if he doesn't come off the bench, I got my man Jordan Poole.
I like it.
I think that's an easy one. He's always gonna be at the top of the list. And for most improved, Kevin Porter Jr. Alongside of that guy, Jalen Green, I feel like they could be a nice, really fun to watch. I'm not going to say they could win too much, but they could be really fun to watch down in Houston.
And he just got paid, so playing for that, he's got to show he's worth that money.
I like that.
So,
And I thought
like
she was
that.
going to say Maxey, so that was a great switch around.
Nah, Maxey should have got it last year.
You don't like Max? All right, well, let's not dive into it. Blake's turn.
I'm okay with that. I'm not going to lie, me and Cobbs' list is pretty similar, so I'll be quick with those, and then I'll get to mine. Joel Embiid should have been MVP last year, and he hopefully will get it this year, or at least in the near future. Even with playing with Harden, I think they're definitely one of the better 1-2 punches, so I'm going to do that. My Defensive Player of the Year, I do have Rudy Gobert, but I'm going to put Kawhi Leonard if he's healthy. because I think we're going to see a kind of a different Kawhi Leonard, and hopefully he'll go back to what he was, and I think he has the ability to win one more Defensive Player of the Year. If he's not healthy, though, Rudy Gobert for sure. Jared Allen, though, was a great one, and I really like the Bam Adebayo. Rookie of the Year, I was a little torn. I have Banchero or Keegan Murray, but I'm going to give it to Banchero because he's going to have a bigger role. He's going to have just more of that impact, and Murray's going to be that third option where he'll be that number 1 or 2, however you want to look at it. Most improved, I am going to go Tyrese Halliburton. If any situation he was traded to, I mean, it's Indiana. He now has the keys to the kingdom, as they say. He's going to be their cornerstone, what they're building around. And whether it's this season or coming up, he'll be averaging 20 and 10 a lot sooner than later.
Agreed.
Sixth man, I heard some good ones, and I wanted to kind of change it because I like the hero one. I don't know where the Clarkson stuff's coming from, but we'll let that go. I'm going to go Jordan Poole, and I think because I'm looking at Morris Clay's going to be healthy and starting. I understood what you guys were saying about Clay. He will miss his time, but I think Poole's going to play mostly off the bench, and I'm going to get a little controversial. He needs to probably start or be a really good sixth man because that contract he just got will look like a Tobias Harris one in the future if he doesn't show out.
He's 23 years old.
No, he is. I agree. No, it's not the age, but the money he got, that was a little too much for a very small sample size, in my opinion.
One thing I can say, the only reason he got paid that much is because how the league is now.
No, yeah, it is.
Because honestly, I remember the OGs be mad. They be like,
he got paid that much because he got punched.
Yeah.
He also got paid that much because we don't know how much longer Steph Curry is going to be at the
Clay plays 2 years on his contract.
Yeah, both of them.
I agree. Both. I feel like Jordan Poole's situation is an insurance policy for the Golden State Warriors, and the fact that they feel like he's the future.
And I feel like they threw 20 mil extra after that punch.
Because the front office doesn't really care about the luxury tax at this point.
If the Warriors didn't catch him out, somebody was.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody was. And you rather keep that than lose it.
All right, so lastly, we're going to try this out. I'm going to jump into a would you rather. So I'm going to give you a name, and I'm going to follow it off with other players similar to that position. I'm going to hide my computer so you guys don't see it. Oh, you already probably looked at the players.
I ain't look at it.
So the player we're going to compare to in would you rather is Darius Garland. All right? So the first name up, LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball or Darius Garland? Who would you rather have?
Darius Garland.
Who are we starting with? We starting with Cobbs?
Oh, yeah.
Just go through.
DG. Go ahead, Corey.
It's a tough one.
It's not this hard, bro.
No, it really depends what you want.
We're starting a franchise off this season. We're talking about this upcoming season. Darius Garland, LaMelo Ball.
Oh, starting a team?
Yeah.
That changes it for me.
All right.
I think honestly, I'm gonna go with LaMelo just for the fact that he's taller.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Garland.
Garland?
If we're starting a team, yeah, I'd probably start around LaMelo. But
it's quick.
Garland is that's tough.
Ja Morant or Darius Garland?
We're starting a team?
We're talking about this season, you want this player on your team. It's just quick. Just give me a name. Okay. Darius Garland, Ja Morant. Go.
Mine's Ja.
First thing that comes to your head.
Mine's Ja.
It's not
Darius
deep.
Garland.
Ja.
I like Darius instead.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Darius Garland.
I still like DG.
Tyrese Halliburton, Darius Garland. All these players are compared to Darius Garland. Would you rather?
Darius Garland for sure.
I like Halliburton's potential. I'm gonna give it to Halliburton on potential wise.
All right, Trey Young.
Trey.
Ice Trey. He's now the best point guard in the league right now.
DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte.
Are we doing?
This is all Darius Garland.
All Darius Garland.
Would you rather have Darius Garland or DeJounte Murray?
DeJounte.
Oh man.
I think he plays way better defense.
We're talking about this season.
I chose Darius over Ja. I'm sticking with Darius over DeJounte.
Yeah, I still like DG.
All right.
I'm tied. I'm tied. I think they're kind of similar to me. I don't.
Huh?
He's a high and mighty on DG.
Because DeJounte.
DG is a shooter.
You gotta make it. Here we go. Healthy Jamal Murray.
Over who?
Garland.
This is all Darius Garland.
We're going 2 years back.
Dude, DG.
We're talking about Jamal Murray this season.
DG.
Okay.
Garland.
Cade Cunningham.
DG.
Garland.
Not gonna lie to y'all, I'm gonna go different. Cade Cunningham, 6'8" point guard, way more potential.
I like that.
We're going this year.
This year, definitely this year.
Potentially.
If I had to start off with the whole new roster, say give me Kate Cunningham on the cast instead of DG, I think Kate Cunningham going to do better.
I'd rather start a team with Kate Cunningham on the wall.
Has Trey Young been the only other All-Star on the list?
And Jonathan Murray.
Yep.
DeJounte.
So the last one is Jordan Poole.
And John Morant too.
Darius Garland.
Jordan Poole or Darius Garland?
Darius Garland.
Darius.
All right. That'll do it for the Would You Rather. So Darius Garland won a lot of those.
I seen bias.
Had some good.
You definitely seen bias.
And I'm not even a Cavs fan.
That was definitely biased. John Morant.
I watched Darius Garland film. He does what
Garland, he could shoot better than pretty much everybody on that list other than Trey Young. Let's just get that out the way. And then secondly,
Jaws jumper was coming alive last year.
No, not the same. I would say Jordan Poole's the only one that can compare.
I'm not gonna lie.
Shooting wise.
Yeah, shooting wise.
I'm gonna say skill wise. The reason why I say potential too, because you guys are thinking about what he did with the Cavs and what they have around him. But in my opinion, if you throw any of those players that I mentioned in his situation, I feel like they would sell just as good as him.
They would thrive the same way.
The same way. I feel like the same situation. Like you throw in LaMelo.
If I'm building a team, I'm going to get those types of players for Darius Garland. So.
All right, that's a wrap. We could debate about this for hours, but we're going to cut it here. Thank you, gentlemen. Jonathan Cobbs, Dakarai Hughes, Zay Randle, Blake Molina. I'm Cameron Harrison, and we'll catch you next time here on the Solano College Sports Network.
Watch the Lakers get the dub today.
No, that's cut out.